Van Doren. God bless you.
Play ball! Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Do you ever feel okay in your current job and profession, but wonder if there's a better company that can offer more? Vision Mechanical is now hiring for journeyman plumbers and HVAC service technicians. Vision Mechanical offers top-of-the-industry wages, 100% paid health, disability, and life insurance, 401k with employee match, and paid holidays and vacation. Vision Mechanical believes in craftsmanship, teamwork, and building a better future, one project at a time. Apply today or learn more at visionmechanical.net or email Ron at vmech.net.
When the lights go out, every minute matters. Powerline helps LES respond to outages faster by linking your phone number to your service address. Get ready before the next outage at les.com/powerline.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. It's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear that you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey guys, it's Austin Norman with 93.7 The Ticket. Join us this Thursday and Friday for Week 1 high school football from Seacrest Field. On Thursday, Jay Foreman and I will bring you the call of Lincoln East and Lincoln Northeast before Friday features a matchup between Lincoln Southeast and Millard West. Catch prep football all season long on Lincoln's home for high school football, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Andy Jackson.
And I'm Bergen Riley.
Here in the Midwest, we know that trust, grit, and heart really matter.
On the court and in life, great teams always have each other's backs.
Having a partner who's there to set you up for success is everything.
And a teammate you can count on makes anything possible.
That's why families and businesses in the Midwest choose Insight Partners.
Because just like us, they know we are better together.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Royals recap here, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. And oh boy, the winning streak is here. Last week when we talked at this time, every Monday, 6 to 7 o'clock, last week we talked, it was all about Noah Cameron and kind of the streak he was on and putting together some good outings on the mound. And that was the topic of discussion for the Kansas City Royals. And a highlight in a very ugly season to that point. How much a week changes. The Royals have won 8 consecutive games, 7-0 homestand for the Kansas City Royals, winning 4 against the Athletics and then 3 against the Tigers. And who would have thought the Royals are, they're not mathematically eliminated. They haven't been at all season long, but right now it would still take a little bit to get into the playoffs because as we've talked about a number of times on the show and across all our programming here on the ticket, the wild card race in the American League is just that wild. But the Royals now entering this week 58-74, or double-digit games back of making a wild card spot. Now it's just a week's worth of games, 7.5 games back, as the third wild card spot is up for grabs anywhere between 65 and 66 Texas, all the way down to the Athletics who are in the bottom of the division. So Nick Whyman hanging out with you for the Royals recap. We have a lot to get into and a lot of positivity. I feel like this show, sometimes we come on here and it's, well, the Royals went on a skid. There's a little highlight in the season with this player, but we'll see if they can get things going. A 7-0 week. And we'll talk about the history of the Royals homestand, why this winning streak on a homestand of 7 or more games is such a interesting stat in Royals history, because it did make some history in the organization. So if you're going to be a part of the conversation, Royals fan or not, 402-464-5685, if you want to be a part of what we're doing, not only here on this show, but the rest of the evening. Real quick, the rest of the evening, all in, 7 to 8, with Ridge Lovett, Caleb Smith. 8 to 9, Beyond the Lanes, Haley and Desiree joining us. Raf's good take on sports, 9 to 10. 10 to 11, Don't Punt Hour, Des Moines, Pearson, Ellen, right back here from 11 to midnight with myself, Nick Whyman, for Late Night Lincoln. So the Royals get a lead early yesterday. Tigers fight back. But 11 to 7 ball game in favor of Kansas City to finish off a 3-game sweep of the Tigers at Kauffman Stadium. And the whole thing about the Royals has been two out hitting, or hitting with runners in scoring position. And that clicked on all cylinders, not just in this game on a Sunday, but every game this week, especially yesterday. I mean, you look at some of the big bats. I mean, Nick Lofton had a 3-run home run. John Rave added a 2-run home run. Kyle Isbell drove in 3 runs in a week where Kyle Isbell had an unbelievable week as a whole. It was Players Weekend. This is the weekend they've had specialty jerseys in the past for across Major League Baseball. But you see people wearing, customizable shoes, the customizable bats. I mean, the pencil bat is probably one of the more prominent Players Weekend accessories that have been used across Major League Baseball. So Kyle Isbell this week had a week to remember. He was using different superhero bats. Spider-Man was one week, Superman was the other night, and he was able to hit home runs in back-to-back days. So maybe it's just the Players Weekend mojo for Kansas City, but I don't know. Something got into him across the hill. Kansas City's longest winning streak since May of 2024. That was the winning streak that propelled Kansas City into playoff contention that year in 2024. So that was against the Seattle Mariners. So it's a little later than May of 2024, and then you have the whole entire summer to get through. But the Royals put together the longest winning streak since that point. Follows the 4-game sweep of the Athletics, and that was a series where Kansas City was tested. They had to walk them off on Tuesday. They had to, erase comebacks, late game, 8th inning, where they scored 5+ runs for the first time in forever. They found ways to win baseball games in something that hasn't been in the Royals' back pocket all season. We've talked on this show before where the Royals have lost the most one-run games in Major League Baseball. They're up there still in the top 5 in that standing, despite the winning streak they had. But if the Royals were able to win just, one third of those one-run ball games this year, they'd be in the thick of it. They'd have a really good chance to make their way into playoff contention. The thing about this week is the depth of the roster that showed up in full force to Kansas City. Bobby Witt Jr., Jack Caglione, Vinny Pasquantino, those guys have been producing, on a nightly basis when they've been in the lineup. Jack Caglione was scratched from the lineup yesterday. But, the heroes, like I said, Nick Lofton, John Rave, Kyle Isbell, those guys who are not everyday players for, during their entire tenure with Kansas City. But for them to step up when 2 outs, runner on second base, get a knock and drive them in, poke a ball over the wall a couple of games, gives Kansas City an 11-run explosion to cap off a historic week in Kansas City at home against the Athletics and the Tigers. I know the offense gets a lot of the talk for what they did, comeback wins, and everything else in between. But also look at the pitching. The pitching for Kansas City. Michael Wacha, he set the tone. 7 strong innings in his outing. Noah Cameron continues to do what he gets to do. The bullpen, the Royals bullpen in the 9th inning this year has been something else. The ERA is one of the highest in baseball. That probably goes to see why the Royals haven't won a lot of those one-run games. 20+ one-run losses this season. But throughout this, they were able to find ways to win baseball games. High-scoring games, low-scoring games, walk-off victories, come-from-behind victories. They found a way. And Sunday was no difference. The bullpen, John Schreiber, Jose Quaz, those guys working out of jams on Sunday. Steven Cruz. He's been an interesting name in the Royals bullpen because you started with Carlos Estevez, you went to Lucas Urseg. Craig Krimble got his first save in a matter of years for the Royals. Nate Pearson's picking up big innings. It's such an odd time for the Kansas City Royals as a whole. So putting this all together, the Royals went 7-0, 4 games against the Athletics, 3 against the Tigers, and did a little research digging into when was the last time, what's the biggest winning streak? When was the last time the Royals had a win streak like this in franchise history at home? Because going in Major League Baseball, winning a week's worth of games is very tough to do. We see the Dodgers do it. We've seen, Cleveland did it, had a huge double-digit winning streak back in 2016, about 10 years ago, on their way to making a World Series appearance against Chicago Cubs. But this marks the 4th time in franchise history that the Royals have swept a homestand of 7 or more games as a franchise, which is wild to say that's the 4th time ever they've done this. So looking at the times they've done this, they did it this time around in August of 2026. They did in April of 2024. They went 7-0. They swept the White Sox and the Astros in a homestand that culminated in a 13-3 victory over the Astros, matching the team's best start to a season since 2016. That was en route to the Royals' potential, ended up making the playoffs. Those are 2 of the 4 7+ game winning streaks at home on a homestand. Then you got to go all the way back to the 80s. 1988, the first week of June, the Royals swept their opponents in early June during the season, ultimately finished with a record of 84-77. 3 years earlier, the first time the Royals had a perfect homestand with 7 or more games, it was an 8-0 homestand in September 2nd through the 8th in 1985. It's the longest perfect homestand in Kansas City Royals franchise history. That occurred during the 1985 season. Flawless 8-game stretch provided, crucial late season momentum for the Royals. And guess what happened later on that year? That was in September. You go to October, the Royals ended up winning their first ever World Series title in 1985. So that is why this homestand is this winning streak is so unique, because 85, 88, 2024, and 2026 are the only years the Royals have gone on a perfect homestand of 7 or more games in franchise history, which it's very rare. You got to think these over the years of this franchise, since that 1969 season all the way into present day, there are multiple homestands of 7 or more games. Well, this was a historic one. Yes, the Royals are still on the outside looking in, but what a crazy week for Kansas City, because it wasn't just one guy stepping up for them throughout this entire homestand against Detroit and the Athletics. Nearly called him Oakland. I nearly did. Bobby Witt Jr., look at his. He had a 2-run home run against the Athletics, scoring 4 runs in that opening game. Followed it up with another home run and 3 runs scored to secure that 4-game sweep. Nick Lofton. Nick Lofton's been a utility guy. He's played a little outfield. He's played a little third base and everywhere in between. He's stepping up where Michael Garcia has been needed. He went 3 for 4 in the final game yesterday of the sweep of the Tigers. Critical 3-run home run, racking up 4 RBIs in that one. John Rave has been up and down the Royals system for quite some time now, since making his major league debut. And due to, Lane Thomas getting traded, DFAing Starling Marte, that opens up roster spots once again for a guy like John Rave. John Rave went 2 for 3 yesterday, 2-run blast, 3 runs scored to help the Royals to that 7-0 homestand. Kyle Isbell, I mentioned him already. Whatever Spider-Man bat, Superman bat, whatever it is, he found a way to poke the ball over the fence, play some good defense in center field, and help the Royals in that way. Salvador Perez. We've talked about him in the show, the history behind him, most home runs in franchise history. Came up with some clutch hits with 2 outs, runners on base, home run in a tight 3-1 ball game over the Detroit. And he's still been a staple to the lineup. They're going to keep him in the lineup as much as possible. Yes, the numbers are down, batting average, home runs, etc. But he's still Salvador Perez. You have to have him in this lineup to continue to move forward. Along the ways with him is he did something pretty unprecedented on Sunday. Salvador Perez stole his first base since July 21st of 2021. Yes, Salvador Perez stole a base. There wasn't even a throw on it either. He just stole second base. The Royals fans will say that's what speed does. So looking into the numbers of Salvador Perez's stolen base, if anybody's curious, because it's once in a blue moon that Salvador Perez steals a base. Entering Sunday, he ranked 532nd of 536 in Major League Baseball with an average sprint speed of 23.7 feet per second. What a turn for Salvador Perez, a guy who, is not known for his speed. I mean, his arm behind the plate, his home run power, it being the captain of the Kansas City Royals. But he stole a base, and I think it has to be mentioned what Salvador Perez did, because it's very rare that you see a guy like that swipe a base. And I have to talk about it because it's Salvador Perez. To put that in perspective, 2021 was the last time that Salvador Perez stole a base. How many games has that been? 755 consecutive games without stealing a base. But the streak is over for Salvador Perez. Well, they don't play tonight, by the way. They play the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow, and we'll talk about that as we get into the next segment. But I'm gonna say that Salvador Perez is probably not going to swipe. I'm not going to count him out. That 23 feet per second, speed. Maybe he swipes one tomorrow, or maybe the next day. I don't know. But that was a really interesting thing. Looking at Salvador Perez, some more stats here. This is also from another account I found on social media. Salvador Perez has over 1,816 hits, 339 doubles, 320 home runs, over 1,000 RBIs, below his list of primary catchers with that, not in the Hall of Fame. That's the list. Absolutely every catcher, those stats are in the Hall of Fame. So, hey, maybe that stolen base helps. But the Royals, I mean, the group that could have just said, hey, milk it in. We traded some guys. Lane Thomas, who's providing against left-handed hitters. Starling Marte, a veteran player. Vinny Pasquantino's been in and out of injured list. Same with Michael Garcia, a team that kind of seemed like the season was kind of free falling early on. And in Major League Baseball, yes, you have your buyers, you have your sellers. But for this group that has, guys who have played several years in Kansas City, some guys who are in, make or break years. Arbitrations coming up for a couple of guys who are on 1-year contracts. Roster spots are on the line. Rotational spots. We talked about last week. What does it mean for Noah Cameron, especially with guys like Cole Reagan's on the shelf and et cetera. And the Royals kept guys like Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo at the trade deadline, which that was a talking point between myself and Austin Norman here on the show, because the Royals could have dealt those guys for prospects potentially. And how high of prospects in other systems could they been? We don't know. We will not know, because the Royals kept those two pitchers. Royals keep those two. And at the time, I remember seeing, during the trade deadline, why are the Royals keeping these guys when they're out of contention? They're looking for a push in 2027, keeping these veteran pitchers and Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo around. Well, those two have been huge for the Royals' success during this winning streak. And Michael Wacha, I think people forget that he's an all-star pitcher this year. August 22nd, 7 strong innings, 1 run allowed in that one. Just allowed 3 hits along with that run, securing his 7th straight victory. Continues to be just a huge part of the Royals rotation, which has been banged up for a while this season. Seth Lugo, he's been an inning eater. Has every start been like Michael Wacha? No, but he's been an inning eater, finding ways to get into ball games, get 5+ innings, and turn it over to the bullpen and keep you alive. Noah Cameron, we talked about it last week. He's still doing his thing. Yes, he got hit around last time out, but still, what he's been doing in the second half of the season, and you have the two veteran pitchers in front of you, then if you play a 3-game series with those guys right now, and the offense continues to hit with 2 outs, all right. The bullpen guys, I think, has been, the main thing for the Kansas City. Yes, yesterday you saw some implosion of the bullpen from time to time, kind of what you've seen all season long from the back end of Kansas City's pen. But when the offense is able to answer back, regardless of what happens, if you give up a run or two in the top half of the inning, the Royals just found a way to win games. I mean, if you look at the scores, the Royals weren't just out slugging teams. They weren't just holding teams to a minimum. They were all different games in their own right. You go back to last Monday, 9-6 victory in that one over the Athletics. The next night, 4-3 win. Bobby Witt Jr. walk off, a couple of silent heroes. Tyler Tolliver had a clutch hit in that one, and the Royals win that one. Wednesday, 9-7. They were down big in that one. Put together a big inning in the late frames to win that one. 6-2 on a getaway day against the Athletics, and sweeping a team. I mean, yes, the Athletics right now are not in great standing right now. They're at the bottom of the American League, almost the bottom of Major League Baseball. But to pull off a 4-game sweep at the Major League level is very tough to do. 6-2 in that one. So that's 4 games right there after winning that series against the Angels, despite getting swept by the Dodgers, which the Royals, looking back, had a chance to win some of those games against the Dodgers. Just didn't put it all together. Like I mentioned, back in the bullpen, hitting with runners in scoring position, goes back to that game. 5-2 on Friday night against the Tigers. The streak continues to roll on. Saturday was probably the toughest day, I would say, because of the Tigers in a 3-1 ball game, because you were relying on Michael Wacha to limit the offense of the Tigers. But the Royals did get runs in the third and fourth innings. This is where, Kyle Isbell, back-to-back days with home runs. Salvador Perez leaves the yard, and then a wild pitch ends up giving you a run, insurance run in the 6th, and the Royals win it 3-1. And it was dicey at times. You relied on your pitching, but then you look at the back end guys. Alex Lang has almost a 6 ERA. Scoreless 8th frame from him. And that's when Craig Kimbrell worked his first save in a matter of time, because, reminder, the Royals just picked him up for pretty much nothing because he's been bounced around the league. But having Lang and Kimbrell get back-to-back scoreless innings, Kimbrell is able to earn a save. First save since July 7th of 2024. Now, if you mentioned Craig Kimbrell getting saves, I'd be like, all right, he was probably, I don't know where he was at that time. He was on the Orioles that season. I remember him mostly for his time in Atlanta because he was an all-star closer as he made his way to the major league level. But Kimbrell was on the Orioles that year. Wild to say that. So the Royals, 8-game winning streak, 7-0 homestand. It's a 7-game homestand. There's still a couple of weeks left in the regular season. We're on the playoff chase right now. But are the Royals in the playoff hunt? I mean, that's to decipher. Yes, they're going to need to do this probably again or a couple of times as well. But this is where we bring up the American League wildcard race. Because you have 2 teams who are pretty much, unless they absolutely collapse, locked in. The Yankees 74-56 and the Boston Red Sox were 71-59. Outside of those two, the AL wildcard race is the Wild Wild West. The Rangers 65-66, and the Cleveland Guardians own that spot right now at 65-66. Under 500. If you want to grab that last wildcard spot, you might finish at 500, which in most years probably doesn't get you into the playoffs. Who knows this year? Toronto Blue Jays, who we'll talk about here momentarily, 64-68, playing some good baseball right now. Yes, they lost yesterday to the Yankees, but 64-68, they've been knocking on the door for that wild card spot, trying to get back to the postseason and get back to a World Series. 1.5 games back. Minnesota in the Royals division, 63-68. They're 2 games back. Baltimore and Seattle, also 2 games back. Seattle, 3 games back, excuse me. Then you have the team the Royals just swept. the Detroit Tigers, 61-69, 3.5 games back. And then that brings the Kansas City Royals, 7.5 games back. Yes, they are on an 8-game streak. They are the hottest team in baseball right now. But you still have to get through some of these teams to put yourself in that contention. If they were to get that third wild card spot, it'd be one of the craziest turnarounds, in baseball. From being, third to last, double-digit games out of first place after the All-Star break to a third seed. It'd be wild, especially considering they didn't really add anything to the roster at the deadline. But like I said, you have Detroit, you have Seattle, you have Baltimore, you have Minnesota, Toronto, Cleveland, and Texas in front of you. That's 7 teams. That's nearly half the American League. As Royals fans look at it, they see this and they go, wow, what a week that was. I don't think you can start tooting your own horn for a playoff run unless you put together a crazy winning streak, because 8 games is a lot. Is the longest in Major League Baseball right now, but you still have a lot of ground to make up, especially with the guys in front of you. And the Royals are going to have to earn that, because if you look at the schedule, they're playing a lot of those teams who are in front of them coming up. And the schedule is going to be tough, but if the Royals can somehow have an improbable playoff run, I'm not going to say no to it, but you got to be realistic, I think, still, and take off the rose-colored glasses and just, think like, okay, yes, this team is one of the hottest teams in baseball. They beat the Athletics and the Tigers, found a way to win some of those ball games, but they're going to have to make up some ground because the schedule coming up, go on a road trip coming up. We'll talk about those coming up here in a little bit, because they're heading north of the border to take on one of those teams who's just a game and a half out, the Toronto Blue Jays. They'll see them once in Toronto, and then Toronto will come to Kansas City. It'd begin Labor Day weekend. Cleveland's on that schedule. Boston. You go down the line. Houston, the White Sox, and Cleveland. Those are pretty much your playoff contenders left. We'll see what Kansas City looks like in full, because, yes, this was a really good week, but saying playoffs, I think, is a little still out there, because you look at the team right now, you're 7.5 games out, you're 58-74. You're still what your record shows. Despite some close losses, you're still 58-74. But it was a good week. You take it one day at a time in Major League Baseball. On the other side, we'll look at the Royals' upcoming 6-game road trip, because they're going to take that winning streak up north of the border to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays and also the Cleveland Guardians at Progressive Field. And then some minor league baseball. Some performances that stood out across the Royals organization. We'll talk about those here on the other side. Nick Whyman hanging out with you. The Royals recap. Remember to be part of the conversation. 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. We'll talk about that on the other side. Royals 6-game road trip coming up, Toronto and Cleveland. Preview those, and then look at some of the standout performances across the Royals organization. On the other side, right here, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Good work, good people, good community. That's what Schweizer Construction is built on. For over 40 years, we've been constructing commercial spaces across Lincoln and showing up for the community long after the last brick is laid. We're growing our team, and we're looking for hardworking people who want to be part of something that they're proud of. Come build with us at schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Building a new home can be a challenge. A lot of big choices. With our Remington homes, we have designed 15 different floor plans that appeal to a wide range of people.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, painted trim, wood floors, more stone, all options with our Remington homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. You're able to get what you really want in a home for a great price with very limited stress. And that's what Remington homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
When you or someone you know has been seriously injured and you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will fight for the justice you deserve in court to get the very best possible outcome. Trust the compassionate and hardworking attorneys at Liberty Law Group when you need an attorney in Nebraska or Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Friends with MedElite Urgent Care in Lincoln remind you that the need for blood continues daily. Unfortunately, our blood banks are extremely low. Our community and our country depend on life-saving donors like you. You are eligible to donate every 56 days, and with each donation, you save up to 3 lives. Please go online and schedule an appointment to donate blood today. Thanks to MedElite Urgent Care in Lincoln for making this message possible. ER skills without the ER bills. Check them out today.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Amy Williams here, thanking you so much for your support of Nebraska women's basketball. Season tickets go on sale August 17th, and we want you at PBA with us as we take the next step forward as a program. Our Huskers are hunting a school record tying 4th straight NCAA tournament bid, and we want you there with us every step of the way. Get your season tickets at Huskers.com, and let's win the day at PBA. Go Big Red.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their big fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Hey, Jake, you know what I love almost as much as the Big Red?
Big scores on the field?
Good guess, but nope.
Big spikes on the court?
Love those too, but I'm thinking food. Like those big, budget-friendly portions you find at Buzzard Billy's.
Now you're talking. I love Buzzard Billy's. I love the shrimp po' boys and the blackened chicken.
You almost always find me enjoying gumbo.
Big plays, big scores, big wins, Big Red. Yep, love them all, especially
those big portions that are budget-friendly. Only at Buzzard Billy's, A-Market.
Football Saturdays are back, and the Lincoln Children's Museum has a game plan for your youngest fans. Game day playdates give kids ages 5 to 12 their own unforgettable game day, while you enjoy the action inside the stadium. Drop them off 90 minutes before kickoff and pick them up 1 hour after the game. New this year, purchase a season pass, buy 4 sessions, and receive your 5th free using code FOOTBALL. Space is limited and advanced registration is required. Visit LincolnChildren'sMuseum.org and reserve your spot today.
When you're not listening to our coverage of Nebraska football, 93.7 The Ticket still has your Saturday college football fix. This week, tune in for the Aer Lingus College Football Classic in Dublin, Ireland. This year's game features Bill Belichick and North Carolina facing off against Sonny Dykes and TCU. That's college football's game of the week here on 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln's home for college football.
Some moments deserve more than ordinary jewelry. At Sartor Heyman, we've helped Lincoln celebrate life's biggest occasions for over 120 years. With quality craftsmanship, timeless gifts, and diamonds you can see from across the room. From our exclusive Heartland collection to custom design pieces, Every detail is made with care by experienced jewelers you can trust. Whether you're celebrating love, family, milestones, Sartor Heyman has a gift for every occasion in life.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Royals recap, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. And joining us now is Blue Jays fan Rudy Gress IV. Mm-hmm. Rudy, the Royals and the Blue Jays, the Royals are going up north of the border to take on the Jays. And it's been an interesting time for the Blue Jays in general, because this is a team who was kind of, World Series hangover. And now here they are, 1.5 games out of the playoffs. What's kind of just been the Blue Jays' way to kind of get back into things and make sure they have a chance at, making a crack at another postseason run?
Yeah, I put them in similar situations in terms of the Royals. Just maybe not the exact record, obviously. I think that the Royals are fortunate enough to have their best player playing some good baseball still in Bobby Witt. I think he's around the 3rd or 4th MVP projection right now. But I just think it's for teams like the Blue Jays and Royals, and I'm going to put the Blue Jays on that similar standing. Just simply, I know they're a World Series team, but without Vlad, they're who we're seeing right now. And I think for teams like that need to just get hot, and we're seeing it right now from the Royals, obviously an insane win streak on, what is it now, 8 in a row now. Yep. And I just think that it's not, you can't look at the Royals win streak and just think, oh, well, that's Bobby Witt. Like it's the entire team. And I think that's what's fun when you get to the wild card pushes under 30 games now left, I believe, somewhere around there. And it's like, you have so many teams who, yes, you have the superstars, you have the Dodgers, you have the Yankees, even teams like that just stand out with the sheer talent. But for teams like the Royals, teams like the Blue Jays, you have to find your production as an entire team. You're seeing guys that are stepping up, whether it's top of the lineup, bottom of the lineup. Your pitching is able to at least keep it in striking distance to where you score 9 runs. Okay, let's not give up 10. You at least keep it to where you're safe. And I think the Royals are going on a good run. I think I don't want to say it's too soon, too late, and because obviously there's still a lot of time left, but I would have loved to have seen this a little sooner, as I know a lot of Royals fans would have as well. But you're at a point right now where things are rolling, keep it moving. And this is the best time as a baseball player, because when you're on a win streak, it's so easy for people to think that, oh, that's the only thing in your mind. But the only thing in your mind on a win streak is go out there, have fun, don't change much, and just keep playing baseball. At the end of the day, if the Royals don't make the playoffs and somehow this win streak ends tomorrow, it's not the end of the world. It's the Royals. This is the sliver of hope they've had. They've created that chance for themselves. And I like it. I think teams that control their own destiny, like the Royals, like the Blue Jays, those are always the fun teams to watch. And I'm excited to see what happens, because the series is going to be holding a decent amount of weight for both teams. If the Royals go in there, sweep it out, obviously you're in a way better situation. You'd get down to what, about five games back now, somewhere around there?
It'd be about 5.5.
Yeah, exactly, which is totally doable. And on the flip side, if the Blue Jays go out there, obviously take care of business, they're in a situation, I think they're 1.5 games back, maybe 2 now. That's a situation where whoever can win this series is going to put you in a way better spot. And I think that's always fun, because these are two teams that seemingly looking from the outside in right now, but they have a chance, like I said, to control their own destiny, and they're surprising people with how they're producing right now.
And I think, like you said, like I talked about in the first segment, where it's not just the superstars, your Vinny Pasquantinos, your Jack Caglianones, your Bobby Witt Juniors, you had John Rave, Kyle Isbell, Nick Lofton, those guys stepping up with, runners in scoring position, 2 outs, best batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position all season long, by a wide mile. Only the 4th time in Royals history they've won 7 or more games in a row during a homestand. Wow. So a pretty wild, circumstance for Kansas City. And Toronto, they've had a little bit of history with Kansas City. They've also been finding ways to win. They just played the New York Yankees this weekend. They're going to get the best of the Royals pitching. Seth Lugo's scheduled to go tomorrow. He's 5-7, 4.71 ERA, but don't let that ERA, fool you because he's still a solid veteran pitcher. Randy DeBonk, a former Twin, 2-1 with a 1.58 ERA.
Wow.
Did not pitch at all before the All-Star break. So crazy what he's been able to do after his time with Minnesota, now in Kansas City. And then Noah Cameron, most wins with the team, 8 so far this year, and he's been on the run of all runs right now in Major League Baseball. Kind of still sneakily quiet. So the Blue Jays are going to get the best of Kansas City's arms, but also their hot bats going into this week, Tuesday, Thursday at the Rogers Center.
Yeah, and I think the pitching matchup, like you mentioned, they're going to get the best of the arms there. And the Blue Jays aren't really sending out – I mean, obviously you can't not sending them out like that, but it's lining up where the Royals aren't going to have the toughest of the pitchers for the Blue Jays. Obviously, you think Dylan Cease is one of the strongest. I mean, he's a Cy Young up there, probably going to finish second in the voting, which is fine. But you got him, you got Jose Soriano, and you're not getting either of those guys this week, which is great. You got game one, Max Scherzer, who has a 7.4 ERA. He's a pitch-to-contact guy, obviously, at the tail end of his career, but obviously you need to go out there and compete. But that's definitely a game with the offense as hot as it is right now for the Royals. You could see them making some noise, obviously, and then you got Shane Bieber following that up with another 4 ERA in there. And TBD on game 3, who knows who we even throw out there? I have no clue right now. But, yeah, I mean, matchup-wise, pains me to say it. I would obviously, I'm swaying the Royals' way, not just for the pitching matchups, not just for the lineup, how it's producing, but like I mentioned, when you're on a win streak, your only goal out there is to have fun and keep it moving, keep playing what you've been doing. And they're a team that we saw it on their wild card run a couple seasons ago. Now, when they're on a run and they're able to play baseball that is team baseball and it's produced from all angles, they're one of the best teams at doing things like that. I think it's an AL Central thing too, that they all kind of fit that mold. But I think the Royals can do it better than most of these teams, and I am worried. I will be talking my trash here behind the scenes in the studios.
That's fine.
But
That's
yeah, no,
fine.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a good series.
So you mentioned that playoff run the Royals had in 2024. Well, the last 7+ game winning streak at home came back in April of 2024. Yes, April of 2024 compared to August of 2026. April's still very earlier in the season. The Royals did that against the White Sox and the Astros that year, and ended up helping the Royals propel them to, like you said, a playoff push. They still would need, a remarkable comeback, because you and I know it, the baseball fans know it, that wild card race in the American League is anybody's right now, because you have, 7 teams above Kansas City within striking distance. Texas and Cleveland right now holding that third spot with a losing record, 65-66. And then you have the Toronto Blue Jays a game and a half back, Minnesota 2 games back alongside the Orioles. Then you have Seattle 3 games back, Detroit 3.5 back, and then Kansas City now within striking distance of a week's worth of games. However, still 7.5 games back compared to the Angels and the Athletics, who are double-digit games back. So the Royals have put themselves back into the conversation. However, you still have work to get done to be, a serious threat amongst those group of teams.
Yeah, and I think that the win streak's going to help, because obviously, I mean, even just comparing them straight to the Blue Jays went on a win streak of their own a little bit, but then they had the series win. I think they won 4 straight series, lost it this past series with the Yankees. Series wins are important and series streaks are important, but when you're able to just string along 1, 2, 3, and now you're getting into the 8 range, and now you're close to double digits in the streaks, like that's just completely that's the. I took a sports psychology class and we talked about win streaks and how these players can just kind of lock into a different zone on some of these streaks. And at Wesleyan, we had our own win streak, and it was very similar, where you kind of just get into this flow state where things are just moving. You're not thinking too much at the plate. And I think that's what we've seen a lot from these at-bats over the last 8 games now, is these at-bats don't look how they kind of used to look a couple weeks ago. They're very competitive at-bats now. They're staying in them longer. They're able to produce more bat-to-ball contact, which is, for a team like the Royals, going to be detrimental on the run that they're going to go on. But, yeah, I mean, I like it, because we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, and I mentioned it as well when I first hopped on. It's not just being powered around one guy. Yes, Caglione and Bobby Witt are going to be your star front runners, but when you're able to get the production 1 through 9, and then again you have the pitching staff that's figuring it out now, having great showings the last couple of times each of these guys have really taken the mound, you're getting it from all over the place. And I think that's a hard team to beat, because if it's just a pitching thing, okay, let's go have good at-bats, we'll figure it out. If it's just a hitting thing, let's go have our good pitchers out there. But when you're able to click on all cylinders, it's scary for other teams that you're going to be facing, like the Blue Jays.
And one of the more interesting, you not only had the headliners across the bullpen, the starting pitching, the hitting for Kansas City, the minor league prospects as well. It was a bid week for the MILB for Kansas City's level. Zion Rose, the Royals' top pick in this past summer's draft, hit his first professional home run.
Nice.
2 for 3 home run, a walk, 2 ribbies in that game on August 22nd for Quad City. Along with that, you had Hunter Owen, another member in that game the prior night. He went shutout outing, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs. David Shields also in Quad City, another big midweek start, shoving 5 innings, 6 strikeouts as well. So it was not just a big week for Kansas City as a whole at the major league level. It was a big week for the Royals, your potential future as well. So it bodes well from top to bottom across the organization.
Yeah, I mean, Zion Rose isn't the guy that you're really looking at either as the biggest power guy or anything, but when you're able to put it together like that 2 for 3 night, you're finding your way on base, and then you throw in the home run for there. I'm glad. I like that kid. I like that the Rose ended up picking him up. Hopefully the development's going to be the question we'll be waiting on, but good for them. I mean, again, it's a system success right now, so you got nothing to really be too complaining about. But now you got those Toronto Blue Jays. Who knows? I know Austin has a comment for that later, but we'll see.
Spoiler alert, yeah, for Austin State of the Union. But along with that, just a couple more minutes here in this segment. The Royals have done this in past years where they've had slow starts this season, get a little hot toward the end of the year, and then bring some hope for 2027 or whatever the next year has been. The Royals did it, last year, ended over 500, they played the Athletics to end the year and ended on a high note, ended with the winning record, but miss out in the playoffs, get eliminated in that final week. I feel like some Royals fans have kind of seen this story before, but however, like you said, you just stack wins, good things will happen. And I think, regardless if this results in a historic come from behind way to make the playoffs or just finishing on the outside looking in with another losing season, it gives you hope for 2027 beyond for what this team is going to do. Because if you would have asked me, a month or two ago, it looked like there was, hit the, DEFCON 1 on the Royals organization as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for what I've joined the Royals recap a couple times now, and I've said it too, like, you don't look at this team and think that they're a bad team. They're just a team that does have some unfortunate luck. And I think there's a stat I have to fact check that if the Royals would have won a third of the games that they blew in the 9th inning, they'd be winning the AL Central right now. And it's like that. Like, they're not a bad team. And I know the fans would hopefully know that. And if they don't, that's fine too. But they're not a bad team. They're a team that maybe like that. I mean, we saw them go toe-to-toe in LA with the Dodgers. They're a couple plays away from taking at least a game over there in LA, giving you some more hope. But yeah, I mean, they're not a bad team. They're a team that does have some unfortunate luck, some unfortunate late game play. And that's something to work on for sure in its own right. But they're not a team that's going out there just getting blown out every game. They're competing. They're giving their best. And I mean, now it's the chips are starting to fall in their favor. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that the expectations weren't too high the last couple of weeks. We've said that, but they're able to compete and none of that noise matters to them. And I think they're playing some of the best baseball. And I'd rather have it in August and September than I would in April. So I'm glad to see it.
And the saying for Kansas City a couple of years ago when they got hot was the boys are playing some ball. And yes, the boys are playing some ball. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we'll preview that 6-game road trip for Kansas City north of the border in Canada, but also in Cleveland. And then also get Austin's State of the Union address right here on the Royals Recap, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
If you like freedom and you like floors, ditch the box stores and shop Freedom Floor and find the best luxury vinyl, tile, hardwood, laminate, carpet, and experts at Freedom Flooring. Visit our showroom at 4815 South 14th Street in Lincoln. If you like freedom and you like floors, ditch the box stores and shop Freedom Flooring, a Shaw Floors dealer.
When Nebraska businesses win, we all win. And the Nebraska Chamber is helping make that happen. Tackling the tough stuff like job creation, affordable and accessible childcare, and building a stronger workforce. We're stepping up so local businesses can step forward. If you want to see Nebraska keep growing, keep competing, and keep winning, get connected with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Learn more at nechamber.com.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through. answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built upon hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with room for advancement.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and new Sierra and Silverado trucks continue to roll in, and August is a great time to upgrade. Right now, get new GMC Sierras for under $50,000 or get 2.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,500 bonus cash. Visit us in Louisville or anytime at koppelcars.com, stock number G306367 with approved credit.
This summer, Salt Dogs fans are making history at Haymarket Park. We're celebrating 25 seasons of grit, grins, heart, and hometown pride. Lincoln, you built this stadium. You named this team. And season after season, it's you, the fans, that keep us coming back for more. So let our thank you be our promise. The best is yet to come. Your local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
The Friends with Red Restoration here in Lincoln remind you, please support the local blood bank and hospitals in our community. By giving blood, you're not only protecting yourself, but your family, members of your community, and your coworkers in need. New donors are always needed to replace those who are no longer eligible to give blood. Be a lifesaver. Go online, schedule an appointment to give blood today, and help save a life. This message sponsored by Red Restoration here in Lincoln. Let's stay united and keep America healthy and strong.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. It's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear that you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The Friends with Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning here in Lincoln would like to take this time out to thank our first responders, doctors, nurses, and the healthcare professionals who put their lives in harm's way for our protection. Blood donation centers need people to donate blood. Be a silent hero and donate blood today. It will help accident victims, surgery patients, sick children, and members of our military. This message is from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning here in Lincoln. Let's stay united and keep America safe and strong.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That is right. Welcome back here to the Royals Recap, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Thanks again for our Toronto Blue Jays analyst, Rudy Gress IV, for chiming in here during the last segment. The Royals, no game tonight. You'll have to wait until tomorrow for the 3-game set between the Royals and the Blue Jays that takes center seat. So real quick, some notes over this 6-game road trip for the Kansas City Royals. Begins tomorrow north of the border against the Blue Jays. 6:07 first pitch Central Time. Seth Lugo going against Max Scherzer. Then Wednesday's game also 6:07. And to cap off that 3-game series in Toronto, 6:07 again. And then you flip it over to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Royals head to Progressive Field in Cleveland to take on the Guardians for a 3-game set. Michael Wacha, Daniel Lynch, and Seth Lugo, the probable pitchers to go for the boys in blue in that one. So it's that time of the week again to cap off the Royals recap. We have Austin Orman's State of the Union address after an 8-game winning streak, 7-0 homestand. A lot of stats regarding Salvador Perez. Read a couple of them basically around his 755 consecutive games without a hitting, without a steal, a base, but the streak is now over. His statement is very quick and to the point. It may target somebody as well, but that's besides the point. The statement of the address for Austin Orman is, don't let the boys get hot. Rudy, you're next. As I said, Rudy, the Blue Jays, fan or analyst here, he's coming after you. And the Royals get ready to take on the Blue Jays for a 3-game set, in which if the Royals can somehow keep that winning streak going and some teams in front of them continue to lose, maybe the boys are playing some ball. But we'll know in due time as the Royals gear up for a 6-game road trip, Toronto and Cleveland over the next week. Tuesday through Thursday in Toronto, Friday through Sunday in Cleveland. Coming up, we continue our Ticket Weeknight slate here. Coming up, All In, Ridge Lovett, Caleb Smith. You probably see them in the background behind me doing their thing. They're going to be back here in studio together for the first time in quite some time. We'll talk to them after that Beyond the Lanes with the Bowlers. Haley and Desiree. Raps could take on Sports 9 to 10. Don't Punt Hour 10 to 11. And then myself once again, Late Night Lincoln with Nick Whyman. So stick with us. A lot to talk about here throughout this evening right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.